Hey, what's up?
Hey, what up? Is
I
your
put on
brother
my
in?
headphones.
Good thing you put on a hat.
Yeah, we got a glimpse of that hair.
Yeah, it's the natural hair.
Um, all right, so you guys ready? I'm cool with your background. I don't care.
Yeah, yeah. I just turned off the fan so it doesn't move in the back.
Okay. All right, so I want to get started with a fun fact. I don't think you guys know. The first time I ever went to Pico Rivera, after spending several years at Hollandale thinking I'm the hot shit, I'm like, all right, it's time to move on to another court. And they told me about Pico Rivera, so I drove out there and my partner was your dad, 2012, 2011. And I showed up to Pico and your dad was there. And I thought it was just some dude standing there. So I asked him, like, hey, no sabe a qué horas juegan aquí? And he's like, ahorita jugamos. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, you play? And he's like, Simon. And so then Potro showed up and somebody else, I think it was Panzas. And so then your dad was like, okay, a ver, pégale. I want to see how you hit the ball. He's never seen me, right? So I start doing my drill que hacía en Holiday, which was just like a straight kill down the lines with both hands. And he's like, okay, puedes jugar conmigo. That was my first experience at Rivera Park. But you guys have been there your whole lives, no?
Pretty much. Yeah, I think my parents moved down the street maybe in 85, I think it was. 1985.
How
So we
close is that? How close are you guys actually, or how close is he actually to the courts? I hear
I
sometimes people tell me across the street.
I
One down
measured it
to
right now, 900 feet.
No way. So you can physically see the courts from the front of his house.
Almost because it's at a slight angle, but you could hear the
Okay.
ball. You could hear the ball like when it's a clear day. You can hear
Yeah.
the ball bouncing off the walls.
Oh,
Sunday
that
morning,
is.
you could hear the ball.
And so what did he ever take you guys out just to
You
travel and
know,
play at a different court?
you know what? We started playing. From what I remember, we started playing at Rosewood Park in Commerce. I don't know if you
Okay,
know that
yeah.
park,
Yeah.
which is similar to Bristol.
Bristol.
Two
Yep.
courts. So right there, they didn't really play bomba. We played a lot of little ball. He actually got us into little ball.
Okay.
Even though my dad didn't play little ball, we started playing little ball. We started playing in tournaments at Rosewood Park, at Bristol. I remember indoor courts. We started going to LA Fitnesses. So we technically started playing little ball. We would hit the big ball before, but competitively we would play little ball.
That makes
With
sense because I've seen you hit the ball, even though I don't see you play that much anymore, but I've seen you hit the ball and you hit it with little ball technique. Even your brother, Javi. But both of you wear gloves, no?
I do just because sometimes my hand cracks, and I don't want it to crack, or I sweat a lot, so I don't want to get the ball wet. So I usually have a couple pairs and switch out gloves.
I see.
and I'm
Yeah,
the
you guys,
opposite. I play
what
with
are
no
you?
gloves because I like to get the ball wet and hopefully it moves on there. And since I'm
Get
always serving,
Yeah.
and they're like,
Pero
"Hey,
what?
you wet the wall, you wet the ball." That wasn't me.
That's funny. And sometimes people do it on purpose. No, they kind of do on the uh
Yeah,
on the forearm. Okay, so then you guys, how long did you do that for, the small ball? I didn't even know that part.
yeah. We're talking about I was probably like 8 or 10 years old, maybe from like 10 to 14 years old. 4 years of
Okay.
solid little ball playing.
And what happened? No te gustó or what?
Yeah, we liked it. It's just I remember at the time, you know Marco Chavez, right?
Yeah.
He had an uncle named Trinidad, and he was our coach at Rosewood Park, and we were kind of rivals with Tony Wantes guys, so we would always play against those guys at tournaments. And
Mm.
the story goes that he wanted to take us to Toledo, Ohio, but my mom was like, "Hell no, not gonna send them
Yeah,
with a stranger."
right.
And my dad couldn't go. I mean, he was always working. Monday through Saturday at that time. So we kind of stopped playing after that. He kind of saw that, oh, I can't really take him to tournaments no more. So I think
Right.
he kind of went away from it. And then we just started playing big ball after that.
Javi, what game do you think is harder to master? They're both hard to me, but which one do you think is harder to master?
I think little ball's still harder to master, especially since you play indoors. You know, a lot of three wall players, if they never get used to that back wall, it's a kryptonite for them. You know, they can never get the back wall. They can never. I think on one of your other podcasts, you have to follow the ball forward, and it's contradictory to what
Right.
we're used to. So it's kind of a lot of people like my dad. He's always played outdoors, and we try to take him
Mhm.
indoors, and he just sucks. He can't get the back wall.
Yeah. Yeah, your dad at the time I showed up to Pico jugaba un chingo though. Like
Yeah,
he would play hours.
yeah, he would play all the time. He was for a long time. He would always back up Bebel, and he would be like his back player, and he had a good solid hit. You know, for a long
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, it was a straight shot, no? Like kind of like
Yeah,
going out the door, pass. I remember his game. Pero también ya tiene tiempo que no juega.
he still plays not as much as he did before because he's up there in age now too. He's 70. He's gonna be 70. So
Yeah. So why'd you guys stop playing? I rarely see
well,
you guys play.
for me, I stopped during high school. You know, got involved with other sports, and then I went to college. Kind of stopped during that time, and then just maybe in the past 5, 10 years, started picking it up again, playing big ball.
And you, George, how come you stopped playing? You just
It
fell out
was
of love or what?
no, same thing. High school, we played other sport. I played tennis,
Oh
football,
shit.
and then I mean, even when I was like 10 or 12, I was really into baseball. So I started playing in right here at the local league, RBA. But then I would be in the All-Star team, and then they wanted me to do the travel ball. So kind
Okay.
of just played more baseball. And then since we had the park and we all our friends around the neighborhood, we would always play basketball, football, every sport you can think of, and hardly
Except handball.
anybody played handball.
Yeah. Okay, so maybe you guys remind me a little bit of Boogie, no? Where the dad played, but he got into other sports more than he did get into handball. Sounds you guys have a kind of like a similar story where you played because your dad was playing, but you liked other sports better.
It was one of those things that I'll go to the park and I know my dad's there.
Yeah.
So I'll play for like an hour and then leave. Never really took it serious, to be honest.
Okay.
It was more like I liked it and I just wanted to play real quick and then leave, come back.
Right.
Where my dad, it was like his religion, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Sunday.
Right. Yep. I remember those days because I
He's
went
the
to Tigo.
first
I
one
went
on
to
the court
Pico.
and the last one to leave.
Yeah. I remember that. And so then it's so strange to me though that now that you guys don't really play, you seem to be really into it. Recording, going live, always kind of present at events.
You know what? I would always go with my dad to all the tournaments too. Like I've been to La Quinta, I've been to all the courts basically in Southern California. And I always liked that tournament atmosphere.
Okay.
So I
All
was
right,
like,
so el ambiente.
you know what? I'm coming anyways. I might as well start recording. That's how I kind of started.
Mm,
Especially at the Simple Green, I have like clips, and I just wished I recorded the whole matches. Were like some important matches that now we think back, like the Samson versus Ibanez matches.
right, right.
In a way,
Yeah,
you
the
kind of take it for
classics.
granted. You think people are gonna play forever, or yeah, you know what? I was just next tournament.
Are you talking about where Ibanez gave him I mean, Sam gave him a donut in the tiebreaker or something?
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah, that one was crazy. But he fucked up his ankle, no? I mean, I remember that was the story, Ibanez.
Yeah,
I don't know if that was ever confirmed, but that's what everyone in the OC told me that, oh, why he fucked up his ankle, so he stopped running. I'm like, even if he kept running, the toy was on a fucking mission that day.
yeah. It
I
seemed
remember
like
that game.
he was just serve, pass shots or kill shots, and like the points start adding up, and and then you can't do
Right.
anything about it.
Okay, wow. I like that you guys still show up and go live. A lot of times I kind of wish I had a setup like they do in New York, where they have like 10 batteries and 10 different cameras, and they seem to capture every game. Pero me da flojera. I'm like, fuck, that's a lot of work.
It is a little bit of a mission. I know my brother, he carries his tripod. I keep mine in the truck, just in case a good match is gonna happen, and then I'll just bring it out and record. Although George takes
Yeah.
it more serious.
And so, how old are you guys? I'm curious.
I'm 42.
And I'm 40.
Oh, damn, we're all three of us are in the same kind of age range. I'm 43,
Yeah.
so we all kind of went to high school at the same time. You know what I remember about your dad too? Que siempre he was always proud of you guys. He would tell me that mis dos hijos y mi hija, and I think it's just three of you, no?
And an
We
older
have an
brother.
older brother.
He would always tell me about how you guys were in college or graduating college or, and so he always seemed to be proud of you guys. And this is before I even knew who you guys were. It was just I'll sit down and talk to him, have a beer, and I'm like, oh, his family's like, oh, my son is in college or my son graduated from college, and he would always talk about you guys. Are you guys aware that he's that proud of you guys?
Yeah, a little bit. He kind of, I don't think he would say it in front of us. He'll
Yeah,
say, he'll say behind our backs, but we always do. And even like other people, like, hey, you guys hung out with all these bad characters and this and that, and you're at the handball courts and they're doing all kinds of stuff. But at the end of the day, once you get to know some of these guys, everybody's cool. Most people are cool. They're not bad people. They look scary. Like if you've seen
right.
they look scary and stuff, but as long as you show them respect, it's not like they're gonna force you to do drugs or drink. So we never picked up any of those bad habits.
Right. So all of you guys graduated from college, no?
Yeah.
I do wonder though, like how the fuck did he do that? Right? Because it seems hard, especially, in the Pico Rivera area and the Maywood area, to get one kid to graduate college, and he got four.
Yeah, I
Was
think
he
it
strict? Was he at this?
it was more my mom, I think, or because at a young age, kind of everybody's upbringing, we weren't rich. So it's kind of like one of those things. Our uncles, they all had blue collar jobs, and it was kind of instilled in us like, hey, you know what, if you want a better life, or at least to do better for yourself, do better than what we did, is go to college. Even though when I went, it was kind of like the first generation of going to college. It was all new to me. I had to talk to the counselors, kind of figure out everything that you need to do to go to college. And aside from that, kind of like dedicate yourself for those years that you're in college. And I still had to work, and
Right.
provide money for gas, your phone, and your textbooks and stuff.
Yeah, did he let you, did the family let you guys apply for financial aid and all that good stuff?
Yeah, we did.
I only asked because I know my dad, I told him like I'm gonna get some government help because when I told him I'm gonna go to college, he's like, okay, well, good luck. You're on your own, I don't have money for books or anything. He was kind of like dismissive about it. And so I'm like, okay, well, fine, I'm gonna get government assistance. And then that's kind of when he put his foot down and he's like, no, you're not. And I was like, why not? And he's like, if you need help, go get a job. He was very passionate about you don't ask for handouts. And he was like, no, no, if you really need money for books, um, go get a job. And at the time, you don't know any better. It's my dad, and I didn't know any better. It's just kind of this ignorant kid thinking about going to college. So I'm like, all right, I went to get a job as a security guard, and I kind of worked my way through college. Pero now thinking back, I'm like, that was some dumb advice. Like, what the fuck? It was free. It was free money. And pero I don't know. He died with those beliefs. And so in a way, it's like, okay, cool, I can respect that. But at the same time, it's like, why limit your children to the resources that are out there at the same time?
Yeah, with us, my dad he didn't really get involved with our school. He just like, oh, you're going to school, okay, cool. Like, do you need a ride? What do you need? So yeah,
Okay,
he would let me borrow his car at one point when I was like 17 or 18. I didn't have a reliable car, so he would let me borrow his car at night. So I would
right.
go to college, and then I was able to get a little Honda Civic, and then boom, the rest is history.
Yeah. Okay, so then he's just proud of you guys, but your mom deserves all the credit.
My mom was the enforcer, like, hey, you know what? Right now, you're gonna do 1 hour of reading. So I'd
Damn.
have to be right there with my book in a chair, reading a book. I mean, it's in English, so she would be like, "So what'd you read?" And I'll, make up a story.
Yeah. So
I was
how do
like,
you
"Oh,
guys
she
feel?
can."
How do you guys feel about it now, though? Like, would you like if you have nephews or kids, encourage them to go to college too, or how do you feel about college nowadays?
I personally think that college, the helped me develop a lot of skills. So I think
Yeah,
it's a positive. A lot of people like, oh, you won't make any money. It also depends on your major. A lot of people go in and get liberal arts and probably come out and don't get a job. But
right,
for the most part, if you get a career, you could do technical work or accounting, lawyer, or in our
right.
case, engineering. You could make a decent living.
Hey, how'd you guys do that? Were you guys math whizzes or just a lot of work and a lot of homework problems to get through
No,
engineering?
well, in high school and going through middle school and high school and all that, my favorite subjects were math, but it's not like I was a whiz in it. It's just that I hated English, writing
Yeah.
essays, all that. So I just went through the catalog, not knowing anything like which major requires the least amount of English classes. So I just went
Mm.
down the list. Oh, engineering, okay. I guess I could handle the science. It's hard, but
Hell yeah.
it's one of those things that it depends on how determined you are, because the college itself, they want you to finish the school, so they got tutoring centers, math centers, and stuff. So the professors, they have their office hours. You can go and ask them for help, So it all depends on the student.
All right, so you would attribute it more to hard work than some high intellect or high IQ math genius stuff.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, there was people that didn't have to study and they would get the math just
Oh
naturally,
yeah.
and
Hmm.
they didn't finish the engineering degree. They dropped out, for other reasons. They were too lazy.
Right.
And I remember like my first day of class at in the college class, the professors all, hey, look to your left, look to your right. In 4 years, none of those people are gonna be here. And we're like, what the hell? He kind of said only 10% of you guys are gonna graduate. That's what the statistics say,
Right.
Either they change majors or they drop out.
Yeah, no, it is a very hard degree. I know that when I went through the same process, it was very similar. What requires the least writing and what requires the least math? And it was accounting. Accounting for me was like the happy medium where I didn't have to write 25-page reports for history and I didn't have to learn a lot of math for like engineering. Um, how did you get through the school, George? Was it a struggle with the math or a little easier for you?
No, well, I did a different major. It was called urban and regional planning.
Okay.
Uh, at Rio Hondo, I ended up getting an AS degree in architecture.
Oh
So
shit.
I was working here in Downey for an architect, hustling
Uh-huh.
and bustling, going to. At that time, I realized that I wanted to transfer out, so I was like, let me look at colleges, and I ended up going to Cal Poly Pomona. But I
Hmm.
was working with the architect in Downey. I still have my old job just in case. I was a forklift driver. So I was
Yeah.
doing forklift driving at one point, working with the architect, and then going to Cal Poly Pomona.
Okay.
So
I thought both of you had an engineering degree then.
also this would happen like in 2008, 2009, the housing crisis.
Yeah.
Well, when all that stopped, all the construction stopped, and all the plans stopped.
Mm.
So I was kind of like, I remember going on a fishing trip, talking to my boss. He's all like, "Oh, right now's a good time to take a vacation." So I was like, "All right, cool. I'm gonna go to Ensenada, go fishing with my uncles." And
Yeah.
when I get back, we'll touch bases, see where we at. So I go to the office and the doors were locked. So I give him a call. He's not answering. I give him another call. He answered. He's all like, "Oh, I had to close the offices," and I'm like, "What's going on?" Because I had my own key. He's all like,
Yeah.
I didn't make the rent." So I was like,
Mm.
"Oh shit, I guess I don't have a job anymore."
Yeah.
So sure enough, I went back home. I was like, "Shit." gotta look for a job. I wasn't really worried because I was still going to Cal Poly Pomona. I was like, all right, let me finish my degree. For the first time, I won't be working. Just concentrate on school. And then
Right.
Javier was like, nah, 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 nah. Like, come interview over here. He talked to his bosses. Like my brother knows the programs. Come
Hmm.
apply. And I think I remember telling him like, nah, it's a different field. I don't really want to do that. I'm just gonna wait it out. Stick to school. I'm pretty sure I could find an internship. He's all like, nah, well, you could just get a job tomorrow. So sure enough, he set up the interview. I go, and I'm thinking like, yeah, you know what? They'll tell me like, oh, come in 2 weeks, your start date. No, that boss, she's all like, you're starting today. Like you could sit down in that desk right there and fill
Oh,
out the
what?
paperwork. And I was like, shit, I didn't want to work today.
Yeah, we have a lot of po, Javier.
So
Nah,
then,
it was a small company, like a mom and pop engineering company. So they don't have to follow all the corporate rules. So it was a lot more flexible.
Yeah.
And then he didn't know the program. He probably knew it better than some of the engineers because they don't really teach it in college. So you most of it you learn it on the job. So George already had a couple years of practice with that architect, so he knew the program probably better than some of us.
Mm. And then what happened, George?
and then 10 years pass, and you're and I'm still working there. And
You're still
actually,
there
that
now?
huh?
You're still there now?
Well, what happened is that company sold to a different company. So we ended up that one was in Orange, and then we went to Irvine. We worked there for
Okay.
3 years, and then our old boss manager called Javi, like, hey, are you guys interested in a job over here? Both of you in Long
Yeah,
Beach. So we both left the same day, kind of like a Zoom meeting right now. We had a double interview.
that's funny.
He's all like, come for some coffee. I was just thinking, it's gonna be casual. He's like, no, it was like a job interview.
Yeah. And so that's where you're at now.
Yeah, we're in Long Beach for a engineering firm.
Oh, that's so funny. Look at that.
And I was telling a lot of the guys from Maine that I talk to now that we used to work like maybe I want to say like about 2 miles away from those courts for
From
10
Maine?
years from Maine. And we would stop by once in a while, play, but we would always try to rush back to play right here at Rivera Park.
Right.
But I was
Yeah,
I
those,
kind of like I wish I would have played more over there because there is a lot of good players.
was there anything that you thought you wanted to be when you were a kid?
I was like, oh, I want to be a cop.
Yeah.
I even took some police administration classes, but then I was like, you know what? I don't think being a cop is for me.
So then, do you guys even fucking get ganas to play? Are you guys gonna play at Venice Beach and at least in the C doubles? I want to see you guys play.
I still play 3 times a week, but more like just for the workout, casual. I'm like you said, money games. They don't really interest me that much.
Yeah.
For the You get people that cheat and they're just trying to
Right.
hustle. And right there, Rivera Park, we have the same people that have been going for a long time, and we just play rotation. Everybody's still competitive, even though it's for free, because we do kind of drop down rotation. You win, you move up, you lose, you go down. So everybody's still trying to get to the top court, and we play for free, and it's still a challenge, and we play doubles. Sometimes if there's not enough people, we'll play singles. But
What
tournaments,
days for, Wait, hold on. What days do you guys do that in case there's any players that want to just play for free and get exercise? What days and times do you guys do that?
Sunday mornings is probably the busiest day, and then
Okay.
before the money players show up, and then from like 8 a.m. people are already there, and they play up until we play up until one p.m. And then that's when the second shift comes in, and that's more of the money players. But they still only play for $5, so it's
Right.
still, oh, if people want to go and play. Well, we had kind of like a park issue where too many people were showing up, and they
Yeah.
kind of down the courts, and then there's a lot of people, and then they started sending the sheriff kind of to patrol the people. And then after that, it kind of died down, you know. A lot of people stopped showing up just because the cop was there. They were there like
Right.
Tuesdays and Thursdays, you know, when all the people would show up.
Did the Friday Night Light events cause any problems? I'm just curious.
No, not this time because the cops didn't show up anymore. So I think they reassigned that lady.
Okay.
Uh,
George, do you play Sunday mornings?
I don't. I haven't been playing for maybe like a couple months. I had a knee issue where I tweaked it playing indoors maybe like a year ago, and then I would get
Uh-huh.
better. I'll play, get injured again, stop, and then I'll get better. I'll play again, and then just stop and play, stop and play. But this is probably the longest I've gone without playing. It's been a couple months
Well,
where I finally feel better.
me and you are gonna team up then on the Sunday mornings when I get back.
I'm
Right.
gonna start training,
All right, Sunday mornings. I'm thinking like by January, right? So
and
in
then
January, I'm gonna hit you up.
you know the funny thing that is, with my YouTube channel and my Instagram page, a lot of people hit me up, and they're like, "Hey, when are you at Rivera Park?" Because I'm always at Rivera Park, and then
Yeah.
I kind of feel bad telling people like Tuesday, Thursday, and there's not that many players, and then they show up from like Orange County or San Fernando Valley. People drive, and
Yep.
I feel bad telling them Tuesday, Thursdays, and there's not that many players. So I tell them, the sure thing Sunday. There's always people on Sundays. And
Right. That's been for years, no, almost a decade. I think Sundays has been pretty good there.
but before it was like, okay, Tuesday, Thursday was rotation. Friday you'll get money players, and Sunday money players.
Oh, you guys didn't answer. Are you gonna participate in the Venice Beach tournament?
Most likely not. I'll be there though.
Javi?
probably not either. Also, yeah, just I don't want to commit, you know, and it's 2 days,
Yeah.
and I'll rather go and be a fan, you know. It kind of I'm at the point where I'm not trying to win any tournaments or anything like that or be competitive. I think the last few tournaments I've done okay. It's just not. It's not one of those things that drives me. You
Let
know,
me motivate Javi. There's the last championship at Venice Beach. It was
When
actually
was
a
that
small
from?
ball tournament. Uh,
2015.
yeah, around there. So
It
you
was kind
wanna
of story. I don't know
team up
if you want to.
again? Let's do it.
I don't know if you want to tell the story, George. It's kind of funny.
Tell me.
No, we just showed up. I told him, "Hey, you want to play little ball today? They're having a city tournament," and I was kind of like, "I don't know who's gonna be there." This time, I wasn't really going to Venice Beach that much, so we just showed up, and they're like, "Oh, it's gonna be like the B's and the C's." I'm all like, "Well, let's just enter the C's," and I think they had
Yeah.
a senior level, right, Javi?
Yeah.
So they didn't have that many teams, and then they just combined the 45 and over and the C tournament, the C division. So they ended up doing like a round robin
Uh,
because they didn't have that many teams. So we ended up winning. But you had like these older players just warming up for like an hour, and they're like, "Oh, there's no competition here. We're gonna win the tournament." And me and Javier probably haven't hit a little ball at this point, maybe for like 10+ years.
damn.
So the first game that it was a tregua, so the first game we lost pretty bad, and I was like, "Damn, we can't get the hang of the ball." And I just remember the ref, he's all like, "Hey, instead of moving back, just step forward." And that completely changed the game.
Yeah.
So we just started playing. We're coming forward instead of going backwards, and just trying to get the balls on the fly. And then little by little, we just started. I saw it in their eyes that, oh, they're making a run.
Right.
So we ended up winning that match. We won another match, and I think we won another one, and then it was a finals. And then the same viejitos ended up making it because they lost once, but then they beat everybody else too. And then
Right.
so we were gonna play them in the finals for the rematch, and then I guess they didn't want to play, and that was it. We won.
They just gave it to you. They forfeit.
And then the funny thing is that my dad showed up late, and then we already had like the medals, and then
Yeah.
he even says like the hater, he's all like, "Oh, so nobody showed up? You guys won?"
Yeah, it sounds like his humor.
No,
That's
no,
funny.
George, in the finals, didn't we play that team once and we gave them not a donut, but close to a donut, and they didn't want to come out for the second match.
Oh yeah. For the second game, right? It
Yeah,
was
the
a
second.
tregua, but they didn't want to come out for the second game.
Yeah, after the whooping we gave him on the first game, they're like, "Ah, that's it." And this partner's like, "Hey, your partner quit." He's like, "What? He quit?" Oh yeah, he quit.
Hey, but it kind of seems to me though that you guys are on the same page with me and a lot of other people that money kind of ruins the game a little bit, no? These high money treguas and matches.
Yeah, I think it's a different animal. Back in the day, like in our Tuesday, Thursday rotations,
Uh,
we would have the park show up and they would throw free tournaments for us, and everybody, like, if you would win, you would get your trophy, and it was pretty badass. They didn't no charge fee, no entry fee or stuff like that, and we would just play for the trophy. But that's why kind of when we do our little tournaments, the little pop-ups, we try to keep it for $5, $10 just to have some prize money for the winners. And my dad's always like, "Hey, you should up it. You should charge like
yeah,
20, $50." We're like, "Dude, we're not trying to like make a living off of this. It's just for fun, to see who's better that day."
yeah, that's how I started too. My first event was a $20 entry, because I that was my idea. I'm like, I'm gonna keep it very low. I don't want to make it about the money. Just focus on the game. But over the years, people started complaining que no, que do a higher entry fee, so there's more win money for the first place. And then I got a lot of comments, a lot of you know pressure, I guess. And so then I finally gave in.
For the viewer and the fan, of course, the money matches are the most
Hmm.
exciting.
Right.
Um, because I remember I was actually asking my dad yesterday when you kind of told us you wanted to interview us, and I was telling my dad like, what were the favorite tournaments that you either played or your favorite tournaments of all time? And he said the Poking tournaments here at Rivera Park. And from what I remember, those times it was a 2 day tournament with the drop down, and there was no money involved. The winners got a trophy, shirts, and a lunch ticket. And these were
Yeah.
like 2 day events where they were still paying at that time, probably playing, I don't know what, $30-$40 per player on the
Hmm.
A side. So I was like, hey, where did all that money go?
Yeah. King's pocket probably. But Pero yeah, I've heard same stories even from Dino. Dino always says that, que back in the day, que it was just trophy and we would all go fucking hard.
There was always side, they would bet on the side. So that was like the prize money. You bet $200, you want $200 if you want first place or whatever.
Yeah, I've actually been thinking about it. I'm like, I'm gonna do a free tournament. And so it's almost like I'm like, I'm gonna do a free one just just for the fuck of it. Maybe do 500, $1,000 to the winner and just so that everyone comes down and everyone goes hard and no one's losing any money or has to come up with an excuse to not make it.
And then I mean, I do give them a little bit of leeway for Fridays because of traffic.
Yeah,
Because one
yeah,
time
that is true.
I had to be at Hollywood on a Friday, and it took me like two hours to get there from Pico. So I was like, I can imagine people coming this way on a
Right.
Friday.
All right, so then kind of here to wrap it up a little bit, I guess, or start wrapping it up. Can you guys tell me, besides Totoy, because everyone has given me Totoy so far, who's your favorite player? Not necessarily who you think is the best player, because I think we all agree it's Totoy, but who's your actual favorite player?
For me, I think Capullo is my favorite player.
Okay, is that right? Why is that? That's an
You
interesting
know,
one.
he's kind of like for me, he's kind of like the Kobe. You know, he's from
Uh,
right here. He's from Long Beach, but he goes to Rivera Park a lot. And then whenever I do like a side front kill, I'll say Capullo. That's a Capullo shot.
yeah,
So for me,
that's
I think
that's.
Capullo, he's an intelligent player.
Mhm.
And then he'll play us. He'll play us for free. So he'll play for
Okay,
$5. He'll play for 10. He'll play for 20. But he plays for free. A lot of people don't know that. He'll just show up and play. He doesn't ask any
okay, cool.
questions. He's just like, yeah, I just want to sweat. Like, let's play.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. Do you think he got better after his weight loss, or because sometimes it feels like like in other sports when like especially like in basketball or football where players lose weight y como que pierden some of their game. How do you think that affected his game?
I think it was just a coincidence of maybe having a bad, bad couple of months, and it just happened that he was losing weight. Maybe that
Yeah.
he didn't have the energy to play as much. I don't know. I don't know what it was, but somebody that's that smart, he can play. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
I've,
No, he's
I've
always
been
been
watching
famous
him.
for smart shots.
I've been watching him play for a long time, so like sometimes maybe something's going on personally that he's not playing good. I don't think it was necessarily the weight loss, even though they were giving him a hard time for it.
Yeah, I thought that. I'm like, maybe he lost a little bit of that oomph, that power behind the weights that he used to carry.
Yeah, it could have been, could have been.
How about you, Javier? Who's your favorite player?
I think, yeah, Totoy. I've always liked Totoy's game just because he's just overpowering. But I think I give a lot of respect to Chava. Where
Mm.
that guy he he comes to Rivera Park, no show, no business. He'll play the 2 versus 1 treguas. He'll play like 5, 7 treguas, dude. And
Yeah.
last I played a single tregua with Lencho. There was 2 treguas, dude. I was gassed out, and I thought I was in shape. And this he just has good left, good rights. Me and Chicharron played him for, I think it was a money game versus him and the guy from New York when they were here for the Holiday tournament.
All right, Alan.
And who was it, George? It was
It
a
was
skinny
Nazir.
Nazir.
Oh, okay.
And I just saw that different level, as a B player
Yeah.
against an A player. Like, your margin of error is so slim versus one of those top
All
dogs.
right.
You make a small little mistake, they capitalize, or they make you run out the door, they set up for their next shot. It's just, you have less time to think, and they're just capitalizing on your weakness.
Right. Yeah, Chava, I remember him from when he was in high school. I went to play him at his high school, Glock High School, way back in the day. And I remember Javi was like 100% confident he was going to be a rock star, right? They saw something in Chava since he was a little kid, and they were right, Now it's like it's very difficult to beat him. I think only Oscar beats him on a regular basis. Outside of that, like, I mean, who else can beat him right now in singles? I don't think there's anybody else. Maybe Toto if he's on fire,
Yeah,
right?
just
But it's just
because you even as a B player or an A player, you have those days where every shot comes out. You're playing, you're like, damn, I can't even believe it.
right. Yeah, but there's nobody else, right, that can beat him like today besides Oscar. Can you
Chicharron,
think of anyone? Oh yeah, Chicha.
Chicha, for we've known Chicha for a long time, since he was a little kid, because he'd been showing up to Rivera Park with his dad for since he was a teenager. So Chicha's good, and he's homegrown for us, for Rivera Park to claim as one of our top players. He's just a cardio machine. He drives you down the lines. He'll kill when he has to. He'll just outwork the other opponent too.
Yeah, I think of the current players, I'll probably give it to Chicha myself. From historical perspective, I always give it to Ricky and Boxer. But I think most recent, I think it would be Chicha, right? When I started calling him the White Lion, because it was so fucking entertaining, right? And a lot of times he would lose, right? Because he would play people that could kill it. Y perdía, pero the lion, the determination, that shit like pumped me up. Like me daban ganas to go play when I'd see him play.
I think people are gonna be disappointed. I didn't say my favorite player is Chicharron.
Yeah. But why don't you tell us though? I know a lot of us know, pero if some people watch this, the relationship you guys have with Chicharron, you said he's been playing there for a long time.
Yeah, he's basically a Rivera Park local. We known. See, remember when I was a little kid, we met Eddie Chapa. So whenever we'll run into Eddie Chapa, um, what's up? My little nephew's this guy here. Um, they would we and then Mario started coming around, and Bruno. and then they're bringing. Got interrupted.
All right.
I think one of your first videos, no, George, is me, my dad, myself versus Chicharron and his dad, the Rivera Park Classic.
Yeah, that was one of the first recordings I put on YouTube on a different channel that I had, and I called it the Rivera Park Classic. And you know how many people hit me up telling me they watched that match,
Yeah, I never saw it.
and I was just recording it kind of like as a joke.
Yeah.
And
Oh, you should upload that.
Chicharron still has the same style, like you see him play from 10 years ago. He still has the same style when he was coming up.
I remember his dad. Did you guys ever build a relationship like this is the thing, I mean, that's interesting, right? That we see each other all the time, but I don't know how many people actually hang out together outside of the courts. Did you guys
Yeah.
ever hang out with the Chicharron family since you guys were always there together?
No, not outside of handball. It was mostly just the Tuesday, Thursday rotation. It was a lot of people that would come, and it was for a long time the same people year over year. But outside of handball, not really. My dad kind of a little bit more. He would go to a few of the other handball players' parties. They would invite him. He would go.
Yeah. Ain't that interesting though? Like I mean, how we have all these relationships in the courts, pero ahí se mueren. As soon as we leave the court, it's like no one really talks to each other. There's a few. I know there's a few at Hollandale and at Bueno Park, pero for the most part, it's like we see each other at the park y ya estuvo.
Yeah, I think yeah, it's one of those things. I've seen a couple handball players here and there. Like I'll be walking at Costco. I seen I think a few people there. My wife's like, "Hey, you always see handball players." I'm like, "Wow, it's a big network, and we all know each other. It's the same guys that have been playing for year over year, different parks or different locations. So for most
Right.
part, all friendly.
For
I know I
me,
tried it for. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm always down. Like I always go out eat with the guys. We'll go
Oh,
like,
you
hey, let's go
do?
Buffalo Wild Wings. Let's go. Gone with with Totoy, Capullo, and Chicha. I don't know if I've gone eat with Chicha, but just talking about handball things or even personal things, or go
Right.
drinking with other local guys.
Okay. Cool. Cool. I'm glad there's some of it. Some of it's out there. I know I tried for a while. Like I even invited Sal of all people to my wedding. Who else went? There's a couple other handball players that went. I did try for a while, but then it was like, fuck, it's too much work. Having friendships is too much work. But anyway, I guess that's a good place to finish. Thank you guys for the time, and thank you all always for going live at my events.
I'll be there at Venice for sure.
All right, George. All right, Javi, have a good rest of the day and good weekend.
All right, you
You
too.
too.
All right, man. Bye.
Later.